All right, well then, what we'll do is, we'll call the meeting to order. So this is the April 21st regular meeting of the Fairfield Flood Prevention, Climate Resilience, and Erosion Control Board. It's just after 7 p.m. First, what we'll do is we'll go around the room and identify those present. My name is John Dilley. I'm Vice Chair of the board.
Charles Abercrombie, board member.
Dick Mahusky, I'm the secretary.
Greg Podleski, member.
You're on mute, Manish.
Manish Jain, board member.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so with that, we can proceed to the agenda since there's no contemplation of having to elevate any alternates. And we have
That would be hard to do.
I know, without any here. So the first kind of order of the business is to here consider and act upon the minutes from what I'm still astounded that we had a meeting on, which was St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. I don't know if there's any comments, questions. I had a couple of things that were really actually more grammatical corrections. One, Charles's name was spelled wrong in the members present, his last name. And then on page 2, the second to last sub-bullet in number 2, I don't understand that sentence, which is the plan is to work both something simultaneously. Weirs. I don't know if that's a term of art. W-E-I-R-S.
Wheeler Detention Pond?
Yes.
Where's our overflow?
Is it a term? Okay, all right, just want to make sure. And you're the one that probably, or either you or Dick brought it up. Because
I did not bring it up because I was not here.
we were not here.
There's two weirs because there are two separate and distinct detention ponds at different elevations.
All right.
So they're going to be doing all of that at the same time.
Those would be the only modification, well, that would not be a modification, that was correctly stated, but the lack of a B in Charles's name was the only thing that I found mildly offensive to the minutes. Any other input on the minutes?
I had two comments.
Yeah.
One, and this could be a reflection of notes, but on the South Pine Creek update, it referred to the nuts and bolts being loose,
Yes.
and the tide gate may need to be locked. My notes reflect that the contractor is going to fix the nuts and bolts and padlock the gate, as opposed to may need to be.
I was not sure if it was more of a may. You actually provided us with that update, I think, and Bill Hurley here from the Town of Fairfield Engineering.
Yeah, they are expected to close out the project in the next few weeks. So I can get a.
No, but yeah, I guess the question was, that was not a definitive, as I recall, but his notes say it was. They were going to padlock it.
That's going to be a conservation because they're in control of those tie gates.
So are they going to do it, or is it a question?
I haven't.
So it's still.
Yeah, I still have to. I'll get that information.
Do you have any better knowledge of what the vandalism or suspected vandalism was?
One of the, I gotta remember now. One of the, there was something that was loose and it was floating in the water that the conservation staff had to pick up. It might have been one of the hood, sections. I have to think about what that was.
Okay, I had sent Mega an email this morning or yesterday asking for what the final schedule is on that, because as I go by there, they have a whole lot of grading still to do. I did not go back yet and look at what the contract document requires, but there's seeding for, the grass stuff and all that. I mean, there's just lumps of big muck and mud hanging around there, and it needs a lot of grading.
Yeah, the grading is for access. That one was
I'm talking about the path, the walking path.
Yeah, walking path.
That used to be and should be returned to a nice walking path.
Yes, yeah, they have to restore.
It needs a lot. It needs the last 5%.
Well, let's finish the minutes adoption, and then if we can talk about that as a project, if there's more discussion on that. But did you have other?
Yeah, I had one other.
Well, the only, on that same, unless it was a different location, on that South Pine Creek, yeah, they have to seed, they have to restore. There was, I think the original contract might have had like an access ramp of, let's say, 6 feet, and Conservation wanted it wider, so there was a change there where, so they can get a vehicle, make sure they get a vehicle down there to maintain the gate.
That's a good point.
So that they've been working on that. I can get you a better update and send it to Becky.
Well, just have Mega respond
Yeah.
to me, that's all.
Yeah,
All right.
so we'll do that. And then just, they're still deciding on the painting of the bridge, just to let you know on that.
I'm aware of that, I talked to Tim about that.
Yeah, it's $150,000, give or take, so we'll have to see on that. But yeah, now we can go to the other one, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Dick.
it's more in the nature of a question, but on number 5, where it says, on the do nothing valuation and risk, there was a discussion about GIS mapping support from Weston and Sampson. It may be an extra charge, whereas my notes show that Mark Hoover from MetroCog has volunteered to analyze the.
Yeah, I
GIS.
think I think the reporting is accurate because MetroCog, Mark Hoover would want this information, but Bill said that there may be potentially an extra charge for this, and he was going to find out. So I'm not sure where, Bill, you are with that status. I sent you a couple of emails, but I think it's the right follow up.
Okay. All right. So there still may be an extra charge. I think we could talk about that, but your question is really about the minutes itself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So
that's what I'm
on-
saying. The minutes are accurate because MetroCog was supposed to get this information, but Bill had said that there might be extra charge.
Wait, I'm still confused. Weston and Sampson is getting the information and going to analyze it?
No,
Weston
sorry.
Sampson
We had
will-
asked whether or not we could get it from them, and Bill said, if you do that, they may charge you more to do that GIS mapping. So let's see if we can get it from MetroCog. And Bill's still following up.
No. We were supposed to take the information from Sampson Weston, and give it to MetroCog. So Mark Hoover at MetroCog wanted this information, so he can take this information and map it to his elevation and give us proper information on what properties will be impacted.
All right, so we
That's
should
the idea.
modify that. We should modify that answer or that description in number 5 to reflect that. Okay.
Since that's still a work in progress, I think that the statement in the minutes is fine as it is. It may not be complete, but it'll flesh out after Bill gets some feedback from Weston and Sampson.
Yeah, so in terms of the minutes itself, yeah, okay. I mean, we could add the one final sentence about MetroCog if we wanted to accurately reflect what Manish says. Yeah, okay.
So should we
So
suggest?
what do you want to do?
You want to suggest some language or
Yeah, the GIS mapping done by Weston and Sampson will be provided to Mark Hoover at MetroCog.
No, but
Who
we
can
don't,
then
we
use
don't
this
know that.
information.
We have not
No, we
agreed,
had talked to Mark Hoover. Becky and I had talked to Mark Hoover.
but we have not agreed with Weston and Sampson to provide anything in regard to this topic. Bill, is that a true statement?
When I called Weston and Sampson, because we noticed a couple of labeling errors. A lot of this GIS stuff they got from Esri, the company that provides most of the GIS information. And they said that they couldn't change it, that we'd have to talk to Esri to change just the couple of labeling
Okay.
things. And so it's something that we still have to follow up on.
But that has nothing to do with the valuations of the properties. Isn't that what we're talking about? The valuation of the properties need to be identified so that Mark Hoover could overlay them onto the GIS.
Yeah, so the idea was, just let me speak in English, and I think you guys can paraphrase and see how it needs to be put in. The way we talked to Mark Hoover at MetroCog was that he would get this information from Weston and Sampson, so he knows what properties or what areas will be submerged during the flooding. Then he has the data that he has mapped on the properties that he can basically say, like, these are the properties, and then we'll map it to the tax data that the town has to see what will be the loss in tax, if that makes sense.
Did you say he would map it against the town data
No,
or
we
you?
will have to, that
Okay.
part we will have to do, but he would tell us what properties will be submerged.
But can I say something quickly? I'm sorry to interrupt. But the minutes have to reflect what was said in that meeting,
Yeah.
not what could happen or what might happen. It has to be what was in that meeting. So I can re-listen to it, but I can't have them say anything other than what was said at that meeting.
Okay, yeah, this is a record. This is not meant to be additive. Okay. All right. So,
And I'm going back to my original comment that I believe this
As
statement
stated.
is true as it exists here and needs no further amplification at this point.
for these minutes, for the
For these
purpose of-
minutes.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. Okay, very good. Any other questions? Chuck? No. Anybody else?
I would just submit that in bullet point after number 6, McLevy, Levy. I don't believe there's an A in McLevy.
Correct.
Okay, very good. And got it,
That's all I got.
very good.
Abstain. I wasn't here.
You were not here, okay. Very good. So with those changes, the B in Abercrombie and
A in McLevy.
the A in McLevy, can I have a motion to adopt the minutes as modified?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Dick. Is there a second? Thank you, Chuck. And, all right, so that will take care of the minutes from March 17th. Thank you, everybody. Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Yeah, oh, you're right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
Abstention.
Four in favor, 1 abstention.
Yes, Benicio, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Active, updates on active projects. So, Riverside Creek and McLevy without an A, tide gates, is the first bullet point here. So, we're lucky to have, Bill Hurley with us. If you just want to provide a snapshot.
Sure. The McLevy tie gate is going to require 3 to 4 easements for access, and then there would also be permanent easements to access the tie gate for construction and then afterwards. So that's going to take time. It is on the waterfall chart or the capital planning, but it's about 1.5 years out from right now, just to let you know. And it may get pushed back another year depending on how long it takes these easements and the permitting. So just to let you know.
Bill, has there been any conversation about the likelihood of getting construction access easements? Because I was looking at the estimated cost, and it's got like $1 million for a trestle access to the work site. It's like, that sounds like it's worth a lot of real money.
Again, these would be not only temporary accesses, but they'd be permanent easements. So they're figuring, these are going to be somewhat significant. And let's just say it's, in order to get in and around a property, if it's 300 or 400 feet, and a minimum, the access easement is 10 or 15 feet wide, you do the math there, we're talking, tenths.
But that's why I'm throwing out the $1 million for the trestle. The alternate to that is also pretty darn expensive.
That's, this project is going to be an expensive one for sure. The Riverside. Oh, sorry.
Quick question on this. So I think the information that Dick you shared on Tide Gate Bridge and culvert improvements, $7 million. Is the McLevy Tide Gate part of that? The first item that came from Bill, I believe.
Well, on the capital, on the fiscal year 27 capital improvement plan, the McLeavy Tide Gate is listed for an approximate cost of $5 million. The approved amount is 500,000, so it still needs funding because it needs fleshing out as to what the cost is really gonna be. But the placeholder is $5 million for McLeavy. Placeholder for Riverside Creek is 2,666,000. So that's seven million six hundred and
7 million.
sixty-six total, but maybe that's where you're getting that number.
Yeah.
So that's for both of them.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Excel spreadsheet you sent this morning.
Yep.
I can just give a real quick background. The 500,000 was a number from about 4 or 5 years ago. It was actually hoping to be a quick design and basically replace the flap gate or something like that. And so it was just a repair for 500,000. Obviously, there's no sea level increase. If I recall, I believe this and Riverside, they might be looking at 2 tie gates, not 1. So there's a lot of, and as I said, we need easements and all that. So all those things added up. It was originally just thought to be like a quick repair. And so that's.
Well, this 5 million includes the easement cost?
The 5 million, I have to admit, I'd have to see their report. I didn't bring it with me.
The costing report that we have in hand is the one from Race. We
Right,
haven't
that's correct.
We haven't
So-
advanced beyond that. And I believe the Race costing report has no cost for easements, but as I said, it has $1 million for a trestle access to the work site, which would be from the water side, I guess. Bill, is that right?
I have to admit, I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I mean, it was not included on any of the sketches that they provided.
Yeah, I've not seen any detail of that or anything. And that's for the McLeavy. For the Riverside tie gate, we have at least a little bit of good news, is that the grants writer and a couple of people from the town and perhaps Becky was involved in this, I don't know. The Riverside tie gate, they applied for an NCRF grant, and so they're trying to get a grant for that for $1.466 million. So that would be nice if we get that grant. And according to Mega, Race has submitted the permit information. We expect, obviously, like almost every time you get comments back. And then from there, they should be sharing the comments with the Flood and Erosion and Resiliency Board, or whatever you guys call yourself.
FERB.
For sure.
We're easy.
So,
Mega's the project lead?
yeah. Mhm. And then
Just as an aside, Bill, have you been using the Deep Concierge service at all?
I used it on one of the projects.
They're tremendously more responsive than they've
At least to
been.
get you started.
They get you started with the right person.
Review, I'm not quite sure yet,
Well,
but
review not so much, but they get you right to the right person. I had an NDDB
oh yeah, the ND.
situation and I went through the concierge and I had the approval within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is, before it was, you were lucky if you got it within 2 years.
Just to let I did.
Slight
yeah.
exaggeration, but.
I did, just for informational purposes, I did meet with them, Clinton and Merton Streets. There's a tie gate and a I'll call it a water course ditch. The Pine Creek Association, that dredging of the Pine Creek, and Old Post Road where the tie gate, the culverts are like half full. That was, I used.
But at least they get you to the right person right away.
Say if a permit's needed,
Yeah.
do we need approval from fisheries and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, we have used it, but I have only used it, as I said, once or twice, but thanks.
Next on the bullet list here is the schedule around the completion of Turney Creek SRT and the South Pine Creek SRT projects.
On the Turney Creek one, I would have to check with the capital groups on that one. I believe they're almost completed with that. I'll have to check with them.
Yeah,
road's been open
That looks
and
pretty much
yeah,
done. The planting need to be done. I was.
final restoration is what I would say.
One
Yeah.
of the storm drains on I think it's just a culvert that goes into the marsh area. The storm drain still has its filter sock on it, and I looked at that and I says, oh man, they forgot this, but then I don't know, maybe they're leaving it on there until the plantings take
Until
hold.
that's
Keep the dirt-
yep.
keep the
Typically,
dirt
once that
place.
gets stable, they call it stabilized, then they take that out. I also think the one other thing is conservation's been working on them on whether they're going to provide a ladder or again some sort of
The
access.
access for adjustments and maintenance, yeah.
So, but
And that-
again,
that
just like the
applies-
other one, they're 95% complete. Yeah.
But that, as far as access for maintenance and adjustment, that should apply to both Pine Creek and Riverside Drive, tide gate
Oh,
installation?
yeah.
Okay. So the schedule for, they're 95% done at Turney. And then at South Pine Creek,
I would put, as I said, I'd put it probably about a month away on both of them. And if it's something different, then I'll let you know. My understanding is they want to wrap it up. We usually hold some sort of retainage, so the contractors want to get that money
The
back.
protective finish on the railroad trestle itself is gonna be a
That might be-
while. That's not in the original contract scope, which, okay, it's not in the original contract scope. So Tim is working on that separately. I believe.
the next bullet is Fairchild Wheeler Detention Basin. Have we started?
That one there, we put it out to bid. We got what we thought were at least favorable bids in terms of the price was within our budget. The issues though that we had 10 issues with the contractor. We got them down to 2, but we could not finalize the last 2. And one of them involved the city of Bridgeport. The city of Bridgeport owns the golf course. And because of the winter that we had, we couldn't really even start until late April. And that was just unacceptable to Bridgeport. They would lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue fees by closing one of the golf courses. Originally they thought maybe they could relocate some tees and do whatever. They couldn't do that. So right now we are scheduled to go to the town boards for approval and get the money for both the Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course and the Tungus Hill detention ponds. And we're expecting to put the bid out in July or
A whole new
June or
bid.
July. A whole new bid. Yeah, we have to rebid it. Yeah. So June and July, and then we have to for the Tungus Hill one. They could probably start a little bit earlier. With the golf course, we had an agreement. Rather than play around, they would actually close 9 holes of the golf course. And so we don't have to worry about flying golf balls or any issues. And September 20th, the agreement is to close the golf course. So the contractors can get in there and get out.
Those 2 snowstorms kind of scuttled the whole thing,
They really did, yep.
right? The
Yep.
big one and then the follow-up, right?
Yep.
That killed the whole project for the
Well,
year.
yeah, it was, I
Oh,
think
yeah,
it was
we
right
talked about it, yeah.
after Christmas, all the way until about March 10th.
Yeah.
There was snow on the ground, and then even there, snow melt, it was all muddy, we couldn't do anything in March. And
All right.
then it was too late, yep.
All right. So that's Tungus Hill as well. That's the update on that as well, right?
Yeah,
Was the
right,
RFP
that-
issued on that one? Or you rebid both?
Yeah, well, that one we never put out to bid.
Oh, it's the
so we're gonna
first
Put
bid.
them out, yeah, we're gonna put them out roughly the same time. Perhaps one of the contractors might say, hey, if you give me both, I'll lower my bid, you
But
know.
they are gonna be 2 separate.
They're gonna be
bids.
2 separate, so we may have 2 separate contracts.
Yep.
Let's see, yeah, I believe that, yeah. We're hoping to get bid documents by, I think, May 15th or May 20th, go through boards, and then we would have the bid opening, and I believe it's in June, yep.
All right.
And then they could start on the one in July, if all goes well, and the golf course would be they could at least start the process, because there's a lot of paperwork and whatever associated, but the actual construction would be planned for September 20th. Yep.
Which is still, they're still giving up revenue, but that's still golf season there.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it is. They're
But it's
gonna
less.
lose some, but it's nothing like they would lose in May, June, July, yeah.
Okay. And then the last bullet we have here,
I'm sorry, just.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Chuck.
Tungus Hill, you're talking about starting that in July or in
Yeah,
September?
no, Tungus Hill now might go before Fairfield Child Wheel, yeah. Because there's, the September 20th date was basically because of the agreement with Bridgeport. For Tungus Hill, we don't have that situation.
That'd be,
And actually, it would be ideal, I think, because there's not as many rec programs and stuff like that to get, to have it get done in July would be perfect. And dry, typically, can't ever promise, but typically a drier season for that
is
project.
it possible to actually get the bid out in June and start it in July sometime?
That's what we're hoping for, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, anything else on those? The last one we have here is Villa Ave. What the status is on that. It seems like it's kind of, there's some consternation in the neighborhood there, and the project's kind of either stopped or stalled.
That's the latest I heard. We did, for the grant money, they were able to give us a year extension on that, so that's at least good news. I did not have a chance to talk to Capital Group on that. Just to let everybody here who knows the goal with the town, and to meet at least we can't meet with all the people at FIR because then that counts as an official meeting, but one or two people to have quarterly meetings with FIRB. And the people with the project management is supposed to send me updates, hopefully 2 or 3 days at least before this meeting. And then I can give you a more accurate assessment.
Yeah, we only had the.
Because sometimes it's just hard. I mean, it just seems like everybody seems to be in meetings and whatever, and it's hard sometimes to get a hold of people.
All right, but it's being extended. We have the property, but the grant's been extended, but the issue is still.
The
Feedback.
Capital, yeah, my understanding, the Capital Group is still working on that. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions or any other updates that you want to provide?
The last update was we did meet with yourself and Dick Mahusky about the priorities for the coastal.
Oh, yeah, let me
Sure.
this is gonna be about a 10-second conversation, but just to follow order here, the NOV, no movement.
No.
I know Eli had said he was gonna make a phone call on that.
No likelihood.
Yeah.
That's right. Eli committed
Status.
to contact them again.
Status, yeah, pretty
Said,
much.
okay, you want me to contact them again? I will.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so that was, I'm sorry, I didn't mean, but I just want to try and keep it in order.
Yep.
For those following along at home. All right, so
Yes, Manish.
let's talk about the resiliency plan, and we did, we just met and we hammered through some stuff, it was a good discussion.
Yep. So the next phase is we already had given the consultant the riverine priorities, and now they are ready for our coastal priorities. And if you don't mind, I'll at least for right now, as I said, this is what we were kind of agreed on. We'll send it in and go from there. But Town Hall and Roger Sherman Elementary, the Public Works Garage, Reef Road to Penfield to Jennings, maybe some sort of dune. There's 3 different scenarios that they could do: a berm, a wall, or deployables, raising houses, or retreating. So we're going to have them look at all 3 and the economic impacts from them. We had the wastewater treatment plant to Veterans Park. That one. We have fire in the police headquarters. That could involve maybe a berm, a wall, or deployables.
Those are, Bill, I looked at those. Those look like ideal candidates for dry flood proofing.
That could be one of the other options too.
And lifetime, that's going to be a lot less expensive than any of the others. Berms just aren't going to work. Deployables, you just have the labor costs involved. Plus, you've got to maintain this stuff in operable condition which means you actually have to deploy it once every year or two to make sure everything's in place, everybody knows how to do it. Whereas you dry flood proof them, all you gotta do is dog down the
logs in.
doors and you're done. And I did some initial planning on those, and they look like ideal candidates for that.
Interesting, because there's a project going on there at the police station now. Well, I mean, it's a different scope, but.
My recollection, I know zoning and FEMA kind of frown upon that, but we also know they have approved.
FEMA is generally on board for dry flood proofing for commercial. Yeah, obviously you cannot use it at all for residential.
And for grant money, we'd have to take a look, but I also know, though, that if we look at the others and basically count them out, then that will definitely help our cause. So, yeah, but I think you kind of have to, at least for zoning, to prove the other methods. Like you said, to do a berm around the police, we don't have the room. We don't have the room.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You can do a flood wall, but that's going to be absurd.
Yeah.
You do flood planks and flood logs,
Yeah.
but they're going to be, just to find a place to store them until they're ready to deploy is going to be.
Plus, it gets expensive too. And then in the area of like the wastewater treatment plant, we didn't have to worry too much about utilities. You know, you're on Nickel Street, you're on Reef. You know, there's utilities, there's services.
We had a private developer take an old, I'm going to call it a warehouse building. It was either warehouse or factory. Now it's warehouse. And where it was located, the most fiscally prudent thing to do was to dry flood proof it. And it pretty much functions as a building, but you've got the ability when you need to. You still got a little bit of deployables, but.
And I have to check, it might be in the, what they call like the AE or VE zone is where they, you know.
Those aren't, they certainly aren't in VE
No,
zones.
not up there.
And I can't imagine they're in AE coastals. They're certainly in the AE, but they're not coastal.
But we'll have them look at that as one of the potential concepts, sure, just.
Yeah, so and to Bill's point on that is the conversation we just had before this meeting, we sat with Bill and we went through and we coded them kind of A, B, C, like A, yeah, this needs to be on our coastal list. B, we have some questions about it. C, this doesn't make a lot of sense to us in terms of spending the consultant's time to evaluate them and provide solutions,
I
so.
mean, to me, those are top priorities.
Exactly.
And they're coded A, they're coded A.
And I think everything costs money, but I think you get a lot of bang for the buck. Just my preliminary studies of it, dry flood proofing, there's substantial walls. You may end up having to reinforce it, but you're starting with something that's pretty substantial anyway.
And it tends to be the cheapest method,
Yeah.
obviously.
Okay. What would you?
No, so I was just gonna, we have Southport Harbor, Harbor Road and Westway by Perry's Green there, maybe at least have them look at it. Could we possibly raise the grade? Thorpe Street, there's some developments in that area that we're looking at. Maybe to do some private-public partnership. That's all I'll say on that. I don't want to give any more information out on that yet. It's not definitive. Riverside and Ash Creek, Riverside Drive and Ash Creek, we were having them look at. And then these are the ones that are in the medium or moderate category.
Yeah.
Turney and Marina, the Senior Center, and wastewater treatment plant to Veterans Park, and maybe even the Penfield Pavilion. There's a couple different routes they could at least look at. Obviously, the Army Corps of Engineers had a route already for that. And then possibly looking at maybe some road raising in the area, the emergency access routes. So I just wanted to give you an update on the master plan there. And that's where we're at now. And then hopefully in the next month or two, we should be getting at least a draft report. And then we will host another public meeting once that draft report comes in. We're probably going to elect to do it sometime in early September, after Labor Day, but before open houses and all that kind of stuff. And we didn't want to do it in the summer, July or August. There might be too many people out that would miss it. So that's the update I can give you. So.
Great.
Bill, just a quick question.
sure.
The list, the coastal list has been given to the consultant?
No, we just decided it right now. I just drew it out there. Again, if somebody would totally object to one of those, or hey, you didn't add this, then now's your chance. I mean, we couldn't have all of us there because then it would have been
I'm sure we will circulate that amongst the full board and get their final feedback with the ABC ratings and get their input on that before, and we can give you
Well, I
the.
am hoping to send it out soon. So,
Yeah, but we can do that pretty quickly and get you an answer.
yeah, because the later that
Go
we
with it? All right.
the later we go.
Okay, then go.
I mean, and also just to let everybody know, they did a
Let's make
concept.
motion. I'll make the motion, so you want a second,
Yeah, if
and
you
we'll
want,
vote on
sure.
it.
Okay. So I make a motion that the list as Bill just provided be furnished to the consultant so they can get going and stop the delays. We need to get this
I'll
project going.
second it.
Thank you, Greg.
And
Any other discussion?
I'm good.
For Prue, it would be the coastal concept priorities.
Coastal, so we've got a motion and a second. No other discussion on it. Can we get a vote here on all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. So, yeah, Bill, please proceed. Like you said, let's, with haste.
And they basically did it as a concept score, and it was based on, you might recall, some of you participated in where, you thought this project was a high priority, a low priority. So they took that, they took the town ones, and they took their own, Race's own based on their experience, and they came up with this priority list. And that's what we mainly based our selection on. So that's why there's really no.
It'll likely add back up to the 15 segments that were referenced in the purchase order and in the contract with Weston and Sampson.
Great, well, thank you. Anything else for me, or I can head out?
Bill, thank you so much.
Oh, sure.
Have a great evening.
Thanks.
Yep.
Before you leave,
Oh.
Bill, before you leave, just a quick question on the topic that we were discussing earlier.
Oh, yeah, please
Did
go
you get a
ahead.
chance to talk to Weston and Sampson if we can share that just mapping without GIS mapping without any cost?
I will put that in. I owe them a major email with this priorities and some of the other things. Project scope. I'm going to ask for a list of the meetings that they have had already with us, and go over any discrepancies. And I will mention if they can provide the GIS information. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to Mark Hoover
Yes.
from MetroCog.
Yeah.
Okay. Completely aside, Bill, we're not related to a topic on here. Over at Mill Hollow, have they started the work over there on that? Is that Mega running that project over there where they're gonna do some digging and put a pipe in at Mill Hollow?
Oh, Mill Hall, that's right near the Sturgis Road Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sanitary sewer repair and investigation.
Is it started or not
The first part had I know they had a meeting out there. They did a layout. I think they did some test pits, and now the project though hasn't fully started yet.
yet? All right, I'll follow up.
Yeah.
I told somebody I would ask you, because we're gonna hold classes there from Mill River.
Oh, okay.
Next week or 10 days.
I can check with Mega on.
All right, I'll follow with Megan.
That was, like you said, not really for flood.
No, it's not flood and erosion. It was something I forgot to ask you earlier.
Yeah, but as I said, I'm pretty sure they've done the test pits, and now they're going to the next phase.
I'll follow with her.
All right,
Thank you.
great, thank you.
All right, sorry about that, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
So is there anything else on the next bullet? Thank you again, Bill. On item 5 around the project you were involved with, Vinny? No? Okay. So then we'll move on to the Tiger Dam demonstration debrief. I'm not sure who attended. I know Dick was there.
Tiger dams are wonderful.
I went.
Oh, did you go as well? Okay, great. So I'd love to hear about it.
What'd you think?
I thought they were quite good.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I sent around the email from John DeSico, the salesman who presented it, And I just sent that around this afternoon. So there is a video that Channel 4 Connecticut or something did on that. So you can watch the video. There's also, they have on their website, they have a lot of videos. I asked and I will ask again for the password for that, and I will share it with us. I have a scheme in my mind that sounds very reasonable to me for the Penfield Pavilion, temporary, deployable flood protection. When we hear hurricanes coming, that will be above elevation 8 to keep the water from going to the neighborhood.
I don't know how stable those are in velocity conditions.
That's to be determined. One of the questions we asked them at what we had a little table session, and then we went outside and watched the actual deployment of the Tiger Dam devices, and that was one of the questions that we were very interested in. So you have all this information. What about wave action? How is it against? Oh, it's great. Okay, you got some videos where they use it. Who can we call? Who can we call that survived it? So it was interesting. One of the to your point, Greg, about you need to deploy them every year. They have one installation somewhere down in Florida, and this is such a flood prone area that they deploy this Tiger Dam installation every April and take it back every October or June to November or something. And they've been doing this for 17 years. So for 17 years, those devices have been out there in the sun for, let's call it a half a year. And when they drain them of water and fold them up, there's no oxygen, so it doesn't make a lot of mildew and stuff. So they represented that they're pretty long
You need to do it
lived.
on an annual basis so that if there is any problem, you find it and repair it now, you don't discover it, 2 hours before the storm's ready to hit.
The other thing, and you made an excellent point there, is that whoever is designated to be the deployer of these, whether it's Public Works, whether it's a group from the fire department, when, instead of washing the truck, they can go out and deploy these, they need to have a session every year and do it.
Well, as a matter of fact, I don't think they've done it yet, but New York City Building Code is getting ready to implement that anything that's got dry flood proofing that has to be installed they actually have to go through it once a year. It has to be witnessed by an independent third party and certified, because what happens, somebody's responsible for doing it, they get retired, they get moved somewhere else, somebody else comes in, all of a sudden, they don't know where anything else is, and all of a sudden, the box full of nuts and bolts that you needed to screw it together is.
I was just going to say, where's the box of bolts?
Yeah.
Who's got the box of bolts?
So New York City is seriously considering implementing a standard for any dry flood proofing to do it annually. Yes.
So a couple of questions. So where would we deploy these Tiger dams? And, what months of the year they will be deployed in our case? I mean, we can't deploy them in the summer because if it's on the beach, that would be a problem.
In my mind's eye scenario, these are only deployed when you have advance notice of a storm coming. For coastal storms, we typically have a day or two's notice, because and Keith Bradley made this point while we were talking about it, that this would not be a solution for the rain bombs. Right. When you have the rain starting and, oh my God, this thing is hanging around, there's no wind to blow it away, we're going to get 3 inches, not the 1 inches we thought. You then have a chance to take these little flood walls that Keith had found, you have a chance to get the pickup truck full of those and just flop them down for your 200 yards pretty quickly. Where these are not so quick, they're quick to deploy, but not that to deploy.
It takes a lot. You're putting a lot of water into them. Right. The ideal location would be Sherman School, the PD, the fire department, because you're going to get coastal flooding, but you're not going to have any velocity. It's going to be just rising waters, and you're going to have advance notice, and you've got flat areas. that are open,
All for that matter.
you know,
Yeah,
so.
Fair Museum, all this.
Yeah, but areas like that are great places to deploy them. I suspect the senior center, but I'm not familiar enough with it to categorically
It's
state
just a
that.
rectangular building at grade,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, as long as you got, you know, when you've got flat, especially paved areas all the way around, you know, it's just a function of running out however many hundreds of feet of the stuff you need and filling it with however many thousands and thousands of cubic
What I
feet of
saw was the
water.
biggest problem is the water source.
Right,
Yeah.
you need to have
Yeah.
you need to have a hydrant,
Yeah.
or
It's
if
still
you're.
gonna take a good time to deploy them with the hydrant because they've got a lot of volume. And what you want to do is you want to have it high enough over the floodwaters so that you actually have the weight that's pushing down. If the water's at the top, all of a sudden it's neutral buoyancy, you know,
Yeah, that's
it'll move around like anything.
3, 2, 1 sort of
Yeah,
a triangular
yeah.
shaped thing, but that's a lot of water.
Yeah,
It's a lot of time to fill it.
And a lot
At
of-
that length, 50 feet or,
The
46.
other thing about deploying them, this is a temporary measure. It's not,
No,
I mean, the case in Florida, wherever that is, where they put them out in June to October, that notwithstanding, this is a temporary matter, temporary application. The DEEP has I want to say standing order with a general permit. They have a general permit for when a storm is coming, you can put sandbags on your beach and you have to take them up within a couple of days afterwards. The Deep had a webinar for coastal associations the other day, and I asked that question. I said, so if I had a tiger dam and put it on the beach, would that be equivalent to the temporary sandbag measure that's already allowed by the standing order, whatever the word is that they use,
general permit.
and general permit? And they said, well, yeah, I guess so. And I intend to follow up with Brian Golombowski. I got his last name wrong, but I intend to follow up with him because he's the one who answered the questions, just to get something in writing that this would be agreeable to them.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything else from you, Chuck? No. All right. Any other questions? I mean, this kind of goes back to I brought in here 2 years ago, these geotubes. I saw them over at I forget what it was. It was a Ash Creek Conservancy event over at Burroughs, the building there, and they were talking about these geotubes, very similar.
Did you all see, I sent around information on Nantucket where they had their geotubes fail?
No.
On a bluff face? No?
Weren't the geotubes declined by?
Yeah,
Deep
it's
at
on,
Penfield?
Yeah.
nobody saw the Nantucket thing?
You sent it around. I have not seen it. I have not watched it. I have not seen it yet. So what happened? They collapsed?
If you want to educate yourselves on geotubes, look at it. They have in there a proposal for doing a big length of geotubes. They have information on the geotubes that failed. They think it was vandalism that actually sliced the geotube material. But the key takeaway is that geotubes are fine, but what they are is a solid base for a sand dune, and you have to keep them covered with sand. You have to keep them covered with a lot of sand so that when your storm comes, you have sacrificial sand before the storm wave action gets to the geotube itself. So, and we had that with the application we had on our beach. And DEEP still considers them a flood and erosion control structure, and that's why DEEP disallowed that. And I shared earlier that, yes, we actually had a grant for either $300,000 or $350,000. We got a grant from Left Hand, and then DEEP, the right hand, said, no, you can't do that. So that money didn't go to waste. We actually put that toward the berm around the wastewater treatment plant.
So let me just ask you though, just engineering wise, what's the difference between the geotube and the Tiger Dam? They're both to be inflated. They're both made of
Geotube, I'm not sure that the geotube is made of as robust
Okay, so it's a
material as the
different level
Tiger
of
dams are.
robustness. Okay.
Geotubes are not intended to be watertight. The sand in the
that's
my
sand,
sense is that the
Tiger's water.
geotube is holding this lump of sand in place.
Yeah, wet sand.
Similar to 1,000 roots from seagrass is gonna hold sand in place.
All right.
I thought they're meant to be permanent too, right? 'Cause
Huh?
they're meant to be permanent.
Yeah.
You install them and you cover them with sand.
Right,
as
and
opposed
you
to
never,
Tiger Dam, which
and
comes
the idea
down.
is you never see them again.
Okay, but that was not the impression I got at this other presentation I went to, and the fellow from UConn who's talking about sea level rise, I forget the professor's name, he presented there, and then they brought up geotubes as a solution, but I didn't know that they were meant to be covered in sand and left there. Interesting, okay. All right, well, I think that's the update on the Tiger dams, and then down to item number 7 on the agenda. Is there any other business that we need to discuss?
I don't think so.
Just a quick update. I think there's a beach association panel or meeting later this week that Chuck and I will be attending and
Yeah, you
representing our
guys are gonna
board.
present? You guys are gonna present a little 5-minute deal?
Yeah, I think it's a panel
Wait,
discussion,
the answer.
Nick, rather than a presentation now.
And it's on these topics?
On general
It's
flood resilience,
Resiliency.
erosion, resilience.
Yeah.
the meeting is,
It's
the
about
meeting is
the
being held,
community.
the meeting is being held by the Fairfield Beach Association. And they have their traffic, their students, their this, that, and the other
It's not
thing.
just flood and
Topics.
erosion.
Yeah, it's
It's more of a.
we're just representing our board as part of it.
Community-edited kind of thing, on many different issues.
All right, cool, great.
And Becky petitioned Scott Hirsch, the president of the association, to have a representative from flood and erosion.
Terrific.
And again, Q&A, you wanna ask a question, we're here to give you a response.
They printed up questions they want to pose, but whether it'll happen remains to be seen.
Excellent. All right, terrific. Well, good luck with that. That's the end of the agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dick. Then we are adjourned. I appreciate everybody joining this evening. Good discussion. And we will see you in 4 weeks' time.
See you
Let's
next month.
figure out how to shut off the recording.
Take care, Manish.
Okay, bye-bye.